Alright, this video I'm going to talk about jaw laminations, jaw additions, and basically modifying the jaws of the trap. Laminations basically are taking and adding either flat steel, or I use round stock, to the top or bottom or both of the jaws to make your jaw surface wider. It serves two purposes. It reinforces the jaws a little bit, and it makes it easier on the animal's foot because you're taking the jaw from that wide and making it about that wide. More surface area contacting the foot, less cutting, less damage, much more humane to the animal. But there's some stuff you got to watch and do right with laminations. I've made some mistakes. First and foremost is, if you're going to do outside laminations, there's two big things you got to watch for. And the first one I really screwed up, and that is right here between the jaw and the eye of the dog. There's some traps that you cannot fit. In this case, a 3/16 rod, that's the same thing, same size as my jaw laminations, cannot fit a 3/16 rod in there. I made that mistake on 4 old Montgomery #2 round jaws. Didn't check it, went through welded laminations on the outside. Can't get the trap set, and if I do get them set, I have to bend this out so far the pan sticks up at an angle like that when it's set. So the other 10 ended up getting jaw laminations on the inside. The other thing you got to watch for, depending on your state, PA, I'm in PA, has a 6.5 inch outside jaw spread, which is measured from outside to outside, 6.5 inches. Traps like the Bridger #3, which I use a few of, are from the factory right on 6.5 inches outside. And this is a 4-coiled trap. I'm fighting it a little bit. So as you can see, what I did was took and put my laminations across the inside of the jaws. That allowed me to have a laminated jaw that's going to be easier on the feet while still meeting Pennsylvania's jaw spread regulations. So then again, watch yourself. If you're in a state that has, say, a 6-inch inside jaw spread, some states measure to the inside of the jaws, PA measures to the outside. Say you have a 6-inch inside jaw spread measurement, adding laminations can actually make that a legal trap in your state if it's over. So, but again, this trap's already done, night latch. We're going to talk about the #2 Victor that we've been working on. So this one's going to get jaw laminations on the outside. Square jaw traps like the one I just showed you are really easy to do laminations on. Alright, I forget where I was at. I had to talk to a girlfriend for a second. This is going to get jaw laminations on the outside. Square jaw traps like the #3 I just showed you, very easy to do jaw laminations on. You can cut your own. You can use a nail, 3/16 rod, cut it straight, lay it on top, done. Round jaw traps, a little bit more complicated. You can bend your own. I found that to be the hard way. I buy them pre-bent, way more cost effective to buy them pre-bent. Clamp them onto the jaws, weld them on. So the other thing I'm going to do to the jaws on this trap are right here where the jaws stick through. I'm going to put a bubble weld on the tip of each jaw, just so when they're pulling on this trap, it doesn't pull the jaw tips in, pop the jaws out, coyote's gone. So we'll set up for the laminations first, which takes a little bit because you got to get a spacer in the jaws and get them nice and flush. Sometimes you need 3 or 4 hands to do this. Take your jaw lamination, get it centered as best as what you can. And the reason you want the spacer, this is an offset jaw trap. Even on the standard jaw, you want a spacer so those laminations are right at the edge of the jaws, so they're nice and flush. And getting them clamped on to where they should be can sometimes be a bit of a trick. If I can find the right vice grips that I'm looking for. Quite honestly, the easiest way to do this is to tack one side, then clamp it down flush and weld it. So I'll go ahead and get this done. All right, there, the jaw lamination's done, welded on. You can see the jaw's nice and wide now. Last thing to do is bubble weld these jaw tips, and that does not take much. Just a little bead of weld on them goes a long way. And there you go, there's the finished trap. Jaw tips are bubbled, laminations done, new chain, pan upgrades, everything we showed you in the last couple videos. One thing to note about bubbling the jaw tips, if you're going to do that, which I highly recommend for coyotes, don't hold the welder on there. If you noticed, I was touching a little bit, let off, let it cool. Touch it a little bit, let off, let it cool. If you just keep hammering on it trying to build up a bubble of weld, you'll actually melt these jaw tips back to where they're too short. Again, everything I showed you in the last couple videos, that's how I set up all my traps. And that can work, again, I don't care what kind of trap it is, you can do these modifications to them. Some you can buy already done. I like tinkering and doing it myself. Again, this was a Victor number 2. The same would go for a Duke number 2. I think, if I'm remembering right, I had a couple of them. You got to watch the outside laminations. Like I was saying, there's not enough space between the jaw and where the dog mounts to get a 3/16 rod in there. The laminations themselves, as far as what to use, I like 3/16 round stock. It's wide enough to make it a nice surface, but not so heavy it's going to slow the trap down way more than need be, like 1/4-inch rod would do. It adds too much weight to the jaws, which means you should probably 4-coil if you're going 1/4-inch laminations, just to give that extra snap to slam the jaws closed because of the added weight of the 1/4-inch rod. But yeah, that trap's ready to be put in the ground. I'm just going to get a little bit of rust on it, dyed and waxed, and it's ready to go in the ground and catch fur. New traps, used traps. If you like tinkering, that's some of the stuff you can do. I'm sure there's stuff other guys do that I don't. Stuff that I do other guys don't. But that's how I set up a trap for land trapping. And that trap will be used everywhere for coyotes, fox, a coon if it happens along. a cat in PA. If one happens along, we're allowed one cat in season in PA. So if one happens along, I have no fears of putting that trap for anything we're legal to catch in PA. So, any questions on the last couple videos, shoot me a comment. Anything else you'd like to see or have questions about, shoot me a comment, and I'll answer them as I can. Thank you.